Hello, hey guys. Just gonna double check the stream and we'll get going here right away. Not gonna be a very long one today. We don't gotta cover a whole lot. As we can see, the markets are ripping up. Give me a sec here. I'm just double checking. Test. Okay, sounds good. Just sit back and see. Can I do this comfortably? Very well, let's see how that is for volume. Maybe let's just, I'm going to talk my normal voice. Do about 50% volume here on the music. Okay, sounds pretty okay to me. See if I can pump up this mic a little bit. Just a light little bit of an ASMR start to this morning. So first off, welcome to Andy's Crypto Talk. There is no financial advice here, and this is just me taking a look at the markets and you guys having a bit of an entertainment while you're viewing the markets. So thanks so much to Kazanomics. Just want to give a shout out at Kazanomics on Twitter. Definitely check out this profile. You can get the link to the Discord right here, the website winternomics.tv, and you know, if you haven't heard this recent spaces, you can definitely go check this out. Just hit play recording and there you go, you'll have access to this recording of the Twitter space. Now, you know, the last one he did I think went down, so definitely check it out. It's, you know, 11,500 people tuned into this, so you know, that says something at least. Next shout out, I just want to shout out po.eth for just a MYRO update. Like, I mean, yeah, that's the way I feel too. This is looking bullish. If you know, if you know, you know. Anyways, let's get on to the show. So we're taking a look at Bitcoin today. Just taking a look at the weekly here. You know, as we can see, we have trended down, broke the trend, and then we've started to trend up. Right now we haven't broken that uptrend yet, so until further notice, you know, we are in essentially a bull market. We're going upwards. That's what it means, right? Bear market, bull market. We're going up. It's a bull market. So we have a couple points that we pointed out on the last show here. Let's just zoom in a little bit. So if I look at, you know, the volume from the top to the bottom, and then we looked at this sort of volume node here, and this volume area here, and then another volume area here on the way up. You know, we do have some support volume down back at the 32. That's kind of where, you know, we have no volume in this sort of area, so that's probably the next catch if we do go down. You know, it is rounding out a little bit near the top here, which doesn't look the nicest, but at the end of the day, it's pushing up on the low end, right? So we do have sort of a wedge like that, that we're looking at. So yeah, I mean, you know, price is moving up nicely. We do see some dojis, so that could potentially mean retrace, but we're not going to read into the candles at all that much. We don't really care about that stuff. They're just things that we look at, you know, confluence points that could matter. Whether they matter or not, that pertains to the price action and the volume. So let's look at the price action here of the last few weeks. Let's do it on the daily. So as we can see from, you know, the push up in the mid-October, we've kind of been bound to this range, but always consistently pushing up until we peaked at about 38k there, and then since there we've been kind of bouncing in between. But again, look, we're pushing up higher, higher low, higher low, higher low. So, you know, I mean, we've only made one high during this time. Sorry, high, higher high, right? So we're looking for a higher low, actually. High, low, higher high, higher low, right? That's all we actually have to pay attention to. So we are looking for a higher high right now, up into the past the 38, you know, resistance sort of point here we have at 38.8. So we want to see it kind of move up like this, instead of doing something like this, because if we see that, you know, then we can easily reject back down sort of to the 32k, but more than likely we're in a bull market, so we're going up until proven otherwise. If we just look at this recent, you know, from the low to the recent high, we still haven't broken this downtrend. Let's sort of zoom in. We'll go into the 4-hour. Try to use sort of time frames that you'll get access to as well, just on free trading view. So yeah, low to high. There's our base trend. You know, we could see it push down, whoops, back into this trend and then carry on. But more than likely, I think we just sort of chop around here until we make our way up, and then we're going to push up from there. That's my personal views on that. Definitely don't take them to the bank, because the market can do whatever it wants. It doesn't really give a shit about my opinion. You know, some whale out there that can move price doesn't care about my opinion. So just keep that stuff in mind when you're making your decisions, that you want to have a risk, right, that you define. So this is your definition of, you know, if it pushes down lower than this price, that's where I'm leaving the market. So, you know, if you enter a trade in here, that's kind of your leaving point. But I don't recommend doing that either, just because we're not that far from there, right? We're only about 3% price from there. So that's not a very good risk adjusted play, considering price can milk that in a few hours. You know, we can see here these candles, some of these 3% just in one candle, 3% just in one candle, 2.5% in one candle. I mean, it happens often, right? And same with the both ways, right? 3% in a candle, 2.2, 1.6. I mean, the candles right now, because of volatility, can be a lot bigger than we anticipate. So anyways, enough rambling about that stuff. Let's see if we got any chat. No chat. You know, I haven't had very many viewers, but I'm gonna just keep doing this. At some point it'll help someone, and in turn that'll help me. I'm not too worried about that. At the moment, it's just more about documenting the process that I go through when I look at the charts, and you know, when I provide information to other people. So this is kind of what we're looking at a trend sort of base. I'm looking at the 1 hour here, and we can see, you know, price pushed up. Where's my filter? So price comes up, down, doesn't quite, down again, up, doesn't quite hit the top again. But if we just look at it as a basic up down, that's kind of what we're looking at, right? Now generally, you know, you'll see 3/4 of these play out before the breakout, though it doesn't necessarily have to break out, it can also break down. It's just a higher probability when it comes to stuff like this that it breaks up. Again, it doesn't have to break up at all, but this is what we're looking at, is kind of like this flag, sort of upward wedge, you know, whatever name you want to call this thing. It definitely has a technical name, but you know, we could continue seeing that, or we could see something like this. I'm gonna make that one red so you can tell the difference. So that's kind of like, you know, what we could see potentially here. Some form of rejection we can see through, you know, 38 here. Some form of rejection either to the downside or some form of consolidation to the upside, much like we do see right now. You know, if we do make an assessment on the length of this, so 37 days, so about under 30 days, so around 28 days or so. Yeah, like, see, this is exactly when, this is the 3/4 mark, so this is kind of where we'll just put a marker there, because this is when we expect potentially something could happen. Again, we don't actually know. So what I'm going to do is this time I'm going to leave this stuff on the chart. I can even timestamp it, but it's in the YouTube, so I'm actually not even going to bother doing that. No need to timestamp because we have a YouTube video of this happening live. So yeah, I mean, you know, you could take some form of risk here to the upside. You know, potentially here would be a little bit better place to make an assessment, whether it on the low side of this channel or on the high side. You can sort of see and zoom in, say zoom into the 15-minute mark, and then at that point, you know, either right here or right here sort of make a decision and then base your risk off what you see in price action. So whether you see that or whether you see this, so you might see that and you might see this, and at this point you're gonna have to make a choice when it breaks this to enter somewhere around here and then define your risk underneath probably the trend line there. And then same thing with this one going down. Once you sort of break this line, you're going to enter in somewhere here and then define your risk above here, or you could wait until it plays out of the zone and then you know, as it comes out of the zone, play it once it hits this and then define your risk there, right? Those are good options to sort of make that play happen for yourself. So yeah, just showing you guys how I think about things. Does that mean I'm going to enter either of those trades? Absolutely not. I really don't know what's going to be happening with price at that moment when it gets to these places. So I'm just going to have to keep an eye on the market and sort of understand what's going on, right? Like, if it is breaking down here, but, you know, we're coming into December to January is when we assume that ETF approvals are coming on the table for Bitcoin. Is it a good idea to be shorting? Probably not. Right now, I don't feel like shorting is even an option for me, right? So I'm not even going to have that in my book. Can I redo that? I'm not sure if I can redo that. So let's just try to draw it again. something like that. Sure, we could see that happening, right? Usually like an M going down, W's go up. And that's based off, you can see, right, a low, a high, higher low, higher high, a high, a low, a lower high, a lower low, right? So that's kind of why that makes sense. Anyways, let's move on to Ethereum. Let's look at the weekly and go from there. So we can see here we had a long downtrend that was broken out. We were marking this out last time we did this on stream, and again, I do apologize here. I was away and busy, so I wasn't able to get a stream going, but from now on I'll do some more streams more often if possible. Alright, so weekly, have a look here. So it looks like Bitcoin maybe not looking quite as strong right here, because we see some red candle and let's see what's going on. So yeah, I mean, downtrend and then uptrend. Have we broken that uptrend? No, not yet. So we're technically still in an uptrend as well. Bull market on ETH. Again, this one's not performing as good as other things, like for example Sol. You know, we took a look at Sol last time. We can see a lot better performance upwards from Sol. But either way, you know, Ethereum still looks like it's gonna be okay once we break sort of through this high. You know, we did tag at one time here. We just sort of kind of wicked above to 2142-ish, and then back down, you know, quite a dip down to 1900. So it did reject, but we can see the wicks on the bottom side basically means that the buyers are stepping in, and they're not letting sellers take control over here. So we could reject again. We see this sort of rounding out happening here at the top. Let's go wait actually. So rounding out at the top, but again, if we look at, let's take a look at the daily trend and see what's happening from the bottom here. Sorry, my volume's just in the way here. Yeah, we can see it's actually respecting this trend so far fairly well. Yeah, so it's just tapping on the bottom of this, sort of tap dancing. But we do have a sort of pivotal point coming up here. Are we going to tap off it? Or are we going to reject? We don't really know. So we just sort of play with price action as it continues. Step down to the 4 hour, and then we can see a little bit better what's kind of going on. And then we can draw this a little bit cleaner. And that's sort of what we see there. Right, so upward trend, you know, again, since around the same part, mid-October's, you know, we've been really trending upwards with Ethereum. Now this is almost looking like inverted head and shoulders here that popped up and rejected, and it's possible we could be doing another one of those. And it's not going to look very good if we do break through this trend line downwards. But if we look on sort of the shorter term, we can see we had a downtrend here that is broken to the upside now and retesting. So this is very pivotal sort of point right here, where will we see this sort of move back to the upside once we break here. You know, we should really sort of move past here and have some more consolidation in this zone before we continue upwards. Now, I think that because we were looking at Bitcoin, and I'm more in the camp of it coming up than down, that I feel the same way is going to be when it comes to Ethereum. So I think sort of that's what we're looking at in the near term. But again, if we do break down, we could potentially go down here, and we'll mark that one red so you can tell the difference. And you know, I mean, there's always two ways markets can go, only up or down. I mean, third way is sideways, but while it's going sideways, it's gonna go up and down. So whether it goes either way, it's going up and down, even if it's going sideways. So drilling down, and we can kind of, you know, take actually a decision point right here, because we do have a fairly clear defined risk underneath here. So if you are bullish on the markets, entering along here wouldn't be a horrible situation. It actually might be a pretty good bet. Right, the other issue is, you know, you're looking at 2% move. Again, if you entered here, you could do a 3R back to the highs. Yeah, about 3R back to the highs. And, you know, do this as like a small risk leverage trade. Right, this isn't a swing trade. You could just play this as a small trade. Because the thing is, like, again, even Ethereum, we look at these daily, excuse me, daily candles, and we can see here 6%, 12%, 4%. Like, these can move quite a lot in a day. So this could be just a quick day trade. So yeah, either way, that's a quick look at Ethereum. You know, we did break this downtrend, moving to the upside. Now we're just going to see if we can rotate up to these highs, right? So yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good inflection point right here to make a stop. You could even do it a little bit tighter for your stop. Yeah, because I mean, once you touch this one in the next sort of hour or two, you could wait for that sort of to play out, see if it's going to come right down to here, and actually tap this line before it continues higher. Then you can have a much better risk to reward, because at that point you wouldn't want to see it go under this trend coming up either. So you could make your stop a little bit tighter. So yeah, just sort of different tricks that you could use if you are entering any sort of trades here. Sorry, just had to clear this through. Alright, so just a quick coverage. I'm just going to do a couple shit coins here, and and then we're going to take off for the day. So Solana, we're looking at this in the weekly, and we know that we had a resistance point here right around 59. So we sort of tagged that resistance, we moved up through it, but then we're coming back and we're testing it again. Right now we're not quite at support, we're back underneath as resistance on the weekly time frame. If we look sort of closer at the daily time frame, yeah, I was going to do that just to show you guys again. So from the low moving up, we're on an uptrend. Now we're on a sort of fanned out violent point of that. See, because we have another low to high, that's another trend. Just taking a look at these. So we had beginning uptrend, steeper uptrend, and now we're on this what they call a parabola, right? So we're on a parabolic move upwards with Solana. And then if we drill down to the daily, now we can get a little bit better view at, you know, what kind of trend are we fighting here, or what sort of angle are we attacking. And I mean, it's tougher to draw these steeper trend lines because it's like, you know, which you don't want to go through any lines, but we're looking at some anchor points to touch on. So that looks pretty close. Let's get that there. So it's a steep trajectory here. Again, a lot like with Ethereum, we really don't want something this steep to break down through, because if we do, then it's going to be just as violent moving to the downside. Now, with the narrative in Solana, I honestly don't think that we're going to be breaking down to the downside, so I'm not too concerned with that right now. What I'm looking at more so is this sort of downtrend. Actually, let's zoom that in. Yeah, because it's actually broken, so that's not quite right to be drawing it like that. So high point to low point. Right, and then we've broken out of this sort of downtrend and reconsolidating back upwards. We could also look at it this way. Right, sort of a wedge happening here on this sort of time frame. Right, so if we sort of look into the closer moments of this, let's get rid of that one. So we can see here, just like we were looking at with Bitcoin, we have one of these playing out, but we've also broken out of that to the upside. So that's why I think Solana is actually leading the pack right now. That's why we're taking a look at this, because I think it's actually ahead of Bitcoin and Ethereum right now. So, you know, we can see Ethereum, yeah, potentially breaking out of this on a smaller time frame. But when we look at the larger sort of picture, Ethereum's got a pretty flat top piece up here, right? So we did come up in here, and we're doing the same sort of thing on the bigger time frame. And that will likely break to the upside as well. However, oh, what's going on here? I'm trying to make this guy white. Oh, no, let's make it green. We gotta tell the difference. We're Christmas around here. Alright. So anyways, look at Solana. This looks, you know, for this upward wedge that we're in now, it's broken to the upside. We can see here it's making a W, right? Low, higher low, high, higher high. So this is good. This is a good sign. Bullish trend. Let's leave that in there, just so we can use that as a prospect. We know it's broken out of that, and we can remember that. So we're broken out of this area, but we've come down after, you know, stabbing through this 59 sort of 3 area. We're coming back down to retest. Now what we want is to see this area turn into support. So we'd like to see something like this and then move back up. That's what would be good to see. Then at this point you can make a play or make a plan to play here, or try to zoom in and get the lower side here. We can zoom into the 15 and make a little bit better play on a lower resolution here. You know, you can use these points here as your stops. You could do a bigger sort of swing trade if you do feel that this is going to carry out for a few months. I think myself personally see the crypto markets continuing upwards for the foreseeable future until we get this ETF news, and a lot of that's hanging on Bitcoin, right? So Bitcoin's kind of leading the pack always and drives the narrative. ETF driving the narrative right now with Bitcoin. If we see that come out in a positive way, Bitcoin's going to run, Ethereum's going to run, Solana's going to run, right? It goes down the risk curve. So it goes BTC, Ethereum, high caps, mid caps, low caps, shit coins, meme coins, right? So, and yeah, it just keeps continuing in that circle. So, a couple last shit coins I'm going to take a look at. MYRO now listed on BitGet, so we got something to work with here. Normally I was looking on Dex Screener and sort of making my play assumptions through that. But now we also have this BitGet, so we can keep our eye on it on TradingView, which is very nice. So we can see here we're since BitGet launch, sort of smacking this 25 mil with resistance, or sorry, the 2.5 cent zone. It's actually percent is 10 million market cap with MYRO. So again, this is kind of what we're looking at. This is a flag, as you can tell. It comes up into it and then bouncing around, right? So again, we could play around like that for the next few days, Wednesday to Friday. Sorry, I just tapped the mic there. Let me let my cat in. Okay, so yeah, we can see it continue bouncing around. However, there's a very strong narrative with this one, and it's very low market cap, so we could see this push up much sooner. Definitely very bullish on this. We're just gonna make a little squiggle prediction here and see how that plays out in my next stream. But yeah, very strong. They got 2 listings announced for today. But I mean, this thing's just being listed non-stop, and we know what that does for tokens. It's definitely very bullish to see exchanges picking up this token. That means that we're going to see this stick around for a long term. However, it's a very degenerate play at this market cap, and we want to exercise caution when investing in stuff like this, because you don't want to invest things that you're not willing to lose. So yeah, as we can see, you know, just over the weekly, 100% gain performance. And yeah, so I think that's kind of all we're going to cover for today. Definitely like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and share it with your friends, you know, if you do appreciate this type of content. But yeah, that'll be it for this one, Andy's Crypto Talk. Check out all my channels, and then you can actually go to, if you want, check out my Twitter profile. It's at block_tunes. You know, they got this great thing going on with Portal Coin, where you can kind of farm some Portal airdrop by engaging on Twitter. So that's pretty cool stuff. And just leave you off with this one tweet from Trading Lord that I reposted today. None of my giga-rich friends are crypto bears. Everyone max long into 2024, 2025. Just left curve it and stay exposed until weekly candles look like the Burj Khalifa. And then down, you know, he'll make sure to warn you on that. So yeah, I mean, that's something definitely to pay attention to, is what are the big players doing right now, and just understand where the sentiment is. If we want to take a look at the top best performers in the crypto market cap over 5 billion, we can see here Solana's been leading the way. This is why I cover this, because it's actually, you know, with trades and things, this has been the main one I've been paying attention to. Bitcoin at 130%, you know, that's huge gains for this year. Ethereum 72, it is struggling behind, but I think at some point, because it's a number 2 coin, we're going to see this move back up. So yeah, Andy's Crypto Talk. I'll stop rambling and